Hi, and welcome to Blues Garden. This is a September tour. Take a look at what I've got going on. Show you both the Cape Garden and the home garden and what I've been harvesting. And I'm going to start with my dahlia that I've got growing that actually I took these and overwintered and then repotted them this spring and brought them to the Cape Garden. I planted some just recently, fall planting, some carrot and some beet. These are tall top beets. That's the carrot, Danvers carrots. And these are the beets on that side. I've got them in a couple of different 25-gallon pots. This is some celery. Last year I collected the seed. I let some celery go to seed. And then I grew these from seed, started them indoors, and then transplanted them outside. This is, I needed to harvest some of the celery. I've got one more going on. I've been snipping slowly. And this, on the Cape Garden, this is a volunteer tomato. It's sort of a raised bed that I don't know what I'm going to do. And just towards the end of the season here, I just threw in some kale for some of my winter plant. These are some of my sweetie cherry tomato and moonbeam tomato. This is a spaghetti squash that grew out of my garden, and I'm actually standing in the neighbor's next door. Back here is to look at some of the sweeties growing. The Cape Garden, the sweeties are done, but these ones seem to still be going fine. Here are the moonbeam. They seem to be doing okay. I got a ton of fruit on there. These are my second planting of some San Marzano plum tomato that I did around the 1st of August. And I can't remember what these are. These are definitely where I planted the brandywine. The vines are starting to go, but there's still some brandywine on the tomatoes. This is some of my Waltham butternut squash. I seem to have quite a few of the plants. I put in 3 and they all seem to be doing well. And there's a couple of fruit on each at least, and I've already harvested one. This one plant, there's one here. Oops. There's the one Waltham butternut, and then back behind it you can see a second one. It's getting closer to harvest. It's actually on a different vine. I should take that back. That's on a different squash vine. This is a second one, and there's some of the butternut growing on that. And this is the third one, I think. No, this is the second one again, another shot of it. But anyway, I have 3 of these vines that seem to be doing well. Each one's got a couple of plants, or a couple of fruit on each. These are my Brussels sprouts. I've got 3 Long Island Brussels, 2 Catskill, and 1 Rubine, which is this sort of purple Brussels sprout. I'm not sure what I'm going to get, but down there in the nodes are where I will start to see some Brussels forming up. I will top this soon, and then it can focus its energy on making the the leaves will all start curling in and making the little Brussels sprouts themselves. The sprouts are nothing more than these leaves that have curled in on themselves. And you can already see a couple of little nodes there where the sprouts will come. My raspberry bush I planted from a gallon pot in the ground years ago, and now it's a little bit bigger than the size of a Volkswagen V-Dub. I am right now, I get some late June, early July, then nothing happens for about a month, and then I am now getting about a bowl a day of these raspberries. Whatever I don't finish that next day when I bring in today's bowl, I will freeze, and I'll end up using that to make jam. Last year I got about 18 jars. Some years I only get about 10 or 12. But daily harvests of the raspberry, and that'll continue on through October. Like I said, I bring in about a bowl a day. Ignore the moonbeam. I just grabbed a few of those while I'm there. Bring in about a bowl a day, This is some of my herbs. I needed to snip off some of the tops of the basil, which I did. I will put a rubber band around all these little bits and hang them upside down to dry. I collected some other herbs out here while I was doing this. My wife decided she wanted to make a beef barley soup, and I needed some oregano and some parsley. For this, I was grabbing some of the basil. That was some of the oregano, I believe. I'm also snipping off some of the rosemary. That's just some weeds, but up where I'm snipping is, you can see the rosemary just fell there, and that's more of the rosemary, and I'll just take those and bring them inside. I don't think, the rosemary I'm just collecting, I'll end up drying a bunch of herbs. And then the dark opal basil I will actually dry in the dehydrator and add that to some of the basil that I'm drying, and that'll be just dried basil that I'll use for the winter when I'm cooking, which I cook a lot of. Sometimes I grow it over winter inside, but often I will dehydrate, collect it, and have it in half-pint jars while I'm cooking. Here is some of the basil, oregano, rosemary, and parsley. There's some red onion and some celery that I went out and got, and this was, unfortunately, the only shot I have of the beef barley that we made. The carrots and potato are mine. My wife also made a nice fresh bowl of bread. It's got a little Asiago cheese in it. It was a good meal. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps me grow, and that helps you grow.